Democracy depends on a free press. Please support our independent journalism at democracynow.org/give. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman. We end today's show in Memphis, Tennessee, where the family of Tyre Nichols joined supporters to protest and grieve Thursday after jurors Wednesday unanimously acquitted 3 former Memphis police officers of the murder of Tyre Nichols, a 29-year-old black father who died after the officers brutally beat him during a traffic stop that was caught on video. For more, we go to Memphis. We're joined by Amber Sherman, community organizer, member of the official Black Lives Matter Memphis chapter, and host of the podcast, The Law According to Amber. Welcome back to Democracy Now!, Amber. You were out there with the family yesterday as people held a memorial vigil and protests. Can you respond to the jury's acquittal of the 3 officers? Not to say they won't serve time in jail, because there were also federal charges that they faced along with other officers.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I think that a lot of us were shocked. I thought they would at least be found guilty on a few charges, but boy, did they prove me wrong. I was like, okay, never mind then. But I do feel like them being found guilty on all of the charges really does embolden the Memphis Police Department.
Acquitted of all the charges.
They don't even have to take their...
Acquitted of all the charges.
Yeah, acquitted. Yeah, really emboldens them to just, feel like they can do whatever they want, and they can really just leave their body cameras on. It doesn't even matter, because if you see it on camera, they're still going to find you not guilty of the charges and you'll be acquitted.
And can you remind our audience what happened to Tyre when he was just stopped for a traffic stop?
Yeah, so Tyre was stopped by the Scorpion Unit, which is a type of task force here in Memphis. That task force has since been disbanded, but there's similar task force that exists still. So they're still doing these types of stops where they are targeting people in certain types of cars, in certain neighborhoods, specifically Black neighborhoods, because they said that they want to target high crime areas, but the area that he was in had only had 1 homicide in the entire year before. So to me, it looks like they're targeting Black people in Black neighborhoods. And he was stopped by an officer. He was immediately yanked out of his car and yelled at. He's asking them why they're stopping him. They don't tell him anything. They started hitting him. Their body cameras were still on at that point. And then at some point, he is able to escape them from beating him and runs down the street towards his house. And then they find him on a corner at Castlegate and Ross, which is in Memphis, in East Memphis, and there's a sky cam above him, which are these cameras that the police department use to surveil our neighborhoods, actually. But this sky cam actually had AI technology that helped the camera to move around, so it actually moves as they're beating him. And you can see from multiple angles that multiple officers are kicking him in the head, they're hitting him in the body, they tried to spray him with pepper spray, but sprayed themselves, so then they get even more angrier and continue to hit him. And he is at one point just lifeless, laying there, just being hit. And they're using all the excuses in the world about how, this was their training and he was resisting. But you can clearly see on video that he's not.
I just want to say that the former officers, Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith, were found not guilty of murder in the state trial. But in a separate federal case, they were found guilty of witness tampering and await sentencing for that conviction. And 2 others were also convicted on the federal charge and pleaded guilty to state charges, will avoid trial. But they are all possibly expected to serve time in prison. In this last minute that we have, Amber, the response of the family at what they're calling for at this point?
Well, I just want to also add that Demetrius Haley was found guilty of excessive force, deliberate interference for medical intervention, and witness tampering, not just witness tampering. And he's facing up to life in federal prison.
Well, Amber Sherman, I want to thank you so much for being with us. Community organizer, member of the official Black Lives Matter Memphis chapter, host of the podcast, The Law According to Amber. We have 15 seconds, the message from his family.
We want justice for Tyre, and that looks like abolishing the police.
I want to thank you so much for being with us from Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, Tennessee, where Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated April 4th, 1968. That does it for our show. Democracy Now! Is currently accepting applications for a director of technology to lead our broadcast, digital, and IT operations. Learn more and apply at democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman. This is another edition of Democracy Now! Democracy Now! Is funded by viewers like you. Please give today at democracynow.org/give.